Good afternoon, brothers and sisters, all over heavenly Asia Pacific. In the special prayer room in Chonsinmuan, our HJ Cheonbo Heavenly Asia Branch President, Dr. Kim In-chon, will offer a prayer connecting this Asia online Cheonbo event with Cheonbowon in Korea. Let us all connect our hearts in solemn meditation and join our Hyojong Cheonbo Branch President in his prayer. Welcome to the Hyojong Cheonbo Heavenly Asia Pacific Special Online Event. Today is the 5th day of the 11th month, 8th year of Cheonilguk, December 19, 2020. Please rise up from your seats and let's sing together song number 2, Grace of the Holy Garden. Let us now offer our Cheonbo to the parents of heaven, earth, and humankind. Please stand up, everyone. Chariot, 천진 참부모님께 경배 바로. Let us now recite the family pledge.
가정맹세 1. 천일국 주인 우리 가정은 참 사랑을 중심하고 본향 땅을 찾아 본연의 창조 이상인 지상천국과 천상천국을 창건할 것을 맹세하나이다. 2. 천일국 주인 우리 가정은 참 사랑을 중심하고 하늘 부모님과 참 부모님을 모시어 천주의 대표적 가정이 되며 중심적 가정이 되어 가정에서는 효자, 국가에서는 충신, 세계에서는 성인, 천주에서는 성자의 가정의 도리를 완성할 것을 맹세하나이다. 3. 천일국 주인 우리 가정은 참 사랑을 중심하고 4대 심정권과 3대 왕권과 황족권을 완성할 것을 맹세하나이다. 4. 천일국 주인 우리 가정은 참 사랑을 중심하고 하늘 부모님의 창조 이상인 천주 대가족을 형성하여 자유와 평화와 통일과 행복의 세계를 완성할 것을 맹세하나이다. 5. 천일국 주인 우리 가정은 참 사랑을 중심하고 매일 주체적 천상세계와 대상적 지상세계의 통일을 향해 전진적 발전을 촉진화할 것을 맹세하나이다. 6. 천일국 주인 우리 가정은 참 사랑을 중심하고 하늘 부모님과 참 부모님의 대신 가정으로서 천운을 움직이는 가정이 되어 하늘의 축복을 주변에 연결시키는 가정을 완성할 것을 맹세하나이다. 7. 천일국 주인 우리 가정은 참 사랑을 중심하고 본연의 혈통과 연결된 위하는 생활을 통하여 심정 문화 세계를 완성할 것을 맹세하나이다. 8. 천일국 주인 우리 가정은 참 사랑을 중심하고 천일국 시대를 맞이하여 절대 신앙, 절대 사랑, 절대 복종으로 신인의 일체 이상을 이루어 지상 천국과 천상 천국의 해방권과 석방권을 완성할 것을 맹세하나이다.
We will now have the representative prayer, which will be said by our Vice President of Asia 2 Regional Group, Reverend Ronnie Sedusta. Let's welcome Reverend Ronnie Sedusta.
Brothers and sisters, please join me in a prayer. 사랑하는 하늘 부모님, 만왕의 이땅에 창조신 존재인 참 부모님, 감사합니다. 사랑합니다. Today is the 5th day of the 11th month in the 8th year of Cheonbo, December 19, 2020 by solar calendar. Father, we would like to express our deepest gratitude that we could gather in this very special time in our life, together with our absolute good ancestors, together with our ancestors who will be liberated and who will be blessed today as we attend the 2020 HJ Cheonbo Asia Pacific Tour Special Online Event. Father, thank you so much for showering us with your love, showering us with your blessing. Once again, we are to be reminded that this blessing will not be possible without the sacrifice, the tremendous offering of condition of our heavenly parents, our true Father in the spirit world, and our true Mother here on earth. Father, in Asia Pacific, once again, you've called us all to stand in the position of the descendants who live in the same timeline as our true parents. Together with this is the responsibility, not just here on earth, but in the spirit world as well. And now, Father, we would like to embrace this responsibility as we invite our ancestors whom for so long time on hell suffering. Father, today is a day of liberation. Today is a day of happiness. Today is a day where we could welcome our ancestors, Father, so that they can be liberated and that they can be blessed in the spirit world. Thank you so much for loving each and every one of us. Father, please bless us all. Please bless those who will do Ansu. Please bless those who will join the ancestors' blessing. Please bless those who will join the ancestors' liberation. That whatever it is that hinder us from our mission, whatever it is that hinder us from our everyday life so we could understand the heavenly parents and true parents' heart will be solved. Today, Father, we would like to proclaim victory on earth and victory on heaven, victory in the spirit world. Today, we want to be united with our heavenly parents. We want to be united with our true parents who would like to give a blessing to all the people on earth and all the people in the spirit world. Father, you've been suffering for so long. As you look to these ancestors, today, even just 10%, even just 20% of that suffering, we want, Father, to be liberated. We want to comfort you. Thank you so much for loving each and every one of us. We would like to invite you from the beginning until the end of this online Cheonbo, this special online event, that everything will be done, not centering on our own will, not centering on our own selves, but centering on heavenly parents and our victorious true parents. Thank you so much for loving us. This we humbly report as one family in Asia Pacific, centering on heavenly parents and true parents. And in my name, Ronnie Sudusta, Wiranut Sere Musika, members of the Blessed Central Family, Aju.
Thank you very much, Reverend Ronnie Sudusta, our Vice President for Heavenly Asia 2 Regional Group, for that heartfelt prayer. At this point, we will have an orientation as on what will happen in our program today. First, we will have a short lecture on the significance of the Hyojong offering paper. Second, we will have a video showing about the Hyojong Cheonbo Providence, and it will be followed by the opening remarks by our Heavenly Asia Pacific Cheonbo Branch President, Dr. Kim In-chon. A special message will then be given by our beloved President of Asia 2 Regional Group, Reverend Masaichi Hori. Right after the special message, we will have a short break. We will then have the dedication of Hyojong offering papers, which will be followed by the Ancestor Liberation Ceremony. We will also do this Chanyang Yoksa session for 30 minutes. After Ancestor Liberation Ceremony, we can go to the special prayer room for prayer and change our clothes for the Ancestor Blessing Ceremony. This will be finished in 60 minutes. We will then be closing with some announcements. Good afternoon, brothers and sisters. Welcome to the Hyojong Heaven and Earth Cheonbo Training Center, Asia Pacific Branch. Today, we will be having a special lecture on the significance and grace of Hyojong offering paper. So, true parents came to Cheonbo 1 on July 28, 2004 and stated that in having wish fulfillment papers being written around the world and conducting the purification ceremony, members must write their wishes on wish fulfillment papers and resolve spiritual matters. In this manner, various members have come to receive tremendous grace through the wish fulfillment papers that true parents bestowed, with such testimonies emerging even now. As you can see, our Hyojong offering paper can make our wishes come true, and it causes strong spiritual works. It is because of true parents' tremendous authority in commanding the spiritual world so that our wishes can be fulfilled. So we have actually three kinds of wish fulfillment paper. We have here the gold, the silver, and the bronze. So on April 3, 2017, True Parents changed the name of the wish papers from Fulfillment of Wish Papers to Hyojong Wish Fulfillment Paper for the Inheritance of Heavenly Fortune. As you can see, from the name Fulfillment of Wish Papers, True Parents changed the name and put the word Hyojong before Wish Fulfillment Paper. And after Wish Fulfillment Paper, True Parents added for the Inheritance of Heavenly Fortune. So this simply means that if we have filial piety towards God and True Parents, that is Hyojong, our wishes, by writing our wishes in these wish fulfillment papers, then we can inherit heavenly fortune. So this is a tremendous grace given to us by True Parents. What are the purposes of writing Hyojong offering papers? Number one, in order to fulfill the wish of an individual. Number two, in order to fulfill the wish of a family. Third, for bringing witnessing results. And number four, for our movement's growth and development. So let us check the grace of Hyojong offering papers. Well, how can Hyojong offering papers work in order to help us in our mission? Number one, it helps with more effective removal of evil spirits during Chanyang Yoksa session. It represses the work of evil spirits and make it easy to separate them from our bodies during Chanyang. And number 2, it fills the part of the condition of devotion that we may be lacking. So when we do certain projects or activities and we lack certain condition of devotion, this Hyojong offering paper can help to resolve and to put more condition on this and complete the victory of this project or activities that we do. Third, it contributes to tribal restoration and witnessing. And the fourth is that it becomes a precious condition to cleanse our ancestors' record of sins and memories, who become absolute good spirits. But descendants must attend Hyojong offering ceremony for the inheritance of heavenly fortune. So our ancestors' record of sins and memories can be erased. Therefore, even though Satan will accuse them because they're helping us with our certain problems, they cannot be disturbed because they don't have record of their past sins, and therefore they can totally, with all their heart, support us in our mission, even though Satan or evil spirits will accuse them. So this is very, very important, cleansing ancestors' record of sins in the memories. 6, resolves our problems in orders of urgency. And 7, supports blessed families to create ideal families. So what are the special points of Hyojong offering papers? The karma or sin committed by ancestors will appear in a form of disease, relationship problem, and financial problem in the lives of their descendants. So, when we write our problems in wish paper, that problem will be handled directly by absolute good spirits in spiritual world. We simply call this heavenly fortune. There are many ancestral problems that cannot be solved by doing religious conditions like midnight prayer or fasting, but it can be solved by wish paper. The problems are covered layers by layers of ancestral sins, and wish paper solve it layer by layer. So wish paper is just like a detergent. Can you imagine, what happens when you wash dirty clothes and then you don't have soap or you don't have detergent? You have problem, right? If you have soap, very easy, you can easily wash the dirt in your clothes when you wash it. But without detergent, so difficult to separate the dirt from your clothes. So wish paper is just like a detergent. So here comes one of our testimony from Thailand, from one of our members in Thailand. I had a spiritual experience at this event. During the Hyojong prayer wish offering ceremony for restoration, I saw something amazing and bizarre. When all of the wish fulfillment papers were on the altar, good spirits emitting a white light were coming down from heaven in groups of circles. Then, the wish fulfillment papers, one by one, began floating up towards heaven. And angels would come and take each sheet and categorize and separate them by content of wishes. A gigantic True Father then emerged at the event venue. And then Hyojinim came to the left of the altar and sent angels to members while waving around a large flag emitting white light. The angels were assisting members in resolving their problems. Adju? So at that moment, the venue was completely filled with angels and good spirits above us. Wow, this is a very beautiful testimony from our member in Thailand. Another testimony, during the Azalea Festival in Osaka, Japan, I attended the Purification Azalea Festival in May of this year together with my husband and offered a prayer with him at Cheonbo. At the time, my husband wrote on wish fulfillment paper, "Please let us have a precious child of heaven." And after we returned to our country, we conceived a child right away. Until then, I had been unable to get pregnant for a long period at all. I felt so thankful for the blessing that true parents had given. Adju, what a wonderful testimony. Therefore, my dear brothers and sisters, let's write Hyojong offering paper for the fulfillment of heavenly fortune as granted and given to us by our beloved true parents. Thank you so much for listening. So now, let's have our video showing about the Hyojong Cheonbo Providence. Please enjoy.
Endless life. Nature moves leisurely following its natural course. Only humans do not know where did we come from and where we are going. Heavenly Parent, you call us, your children, into the bosom of true love. Where my spirit is awakened and I return to my original roots, heaven and earth meet, the homeland of the Spirit of Salvation. The HJ Heaven and Earth Cheonbo Training Center. The miserable history of humankind which lost the love and heart of Heavenly Parent. To save mankind from suffering due to conflict on your behalf, you sent Reverend Sun Myung Moon and Dr. Hak Jahan to this earth as the true parents. The providence of physical and spiritual salvation and blessing began. The beautiful Chanshin Lake. This sacred area is the central holy ground called the HJ Cheonwon by the members of the Family Federation for World Peace and Unification. As early as the late 1960s, true parents came to this place to offer Jeongsong whenever they had time. Praying and meditating and offering fishing devotion. They planned for the liberation of God and salvation of humanity. On June 20th, 1971, True Fathers struck the first pickaxe on slope of mulberry trees. The construction work began in earnest with the disciples, after an intense period of construction for 23 days, fighting against the rainy season. On July 12th, the first building of the Cheonpyeong Training Center, the original sanctuary, was complete, and the history of the HJ Heaven and Earth Training Center began. On September 3, 2012, True Father's Cosmic Sunhwa ceremony was held. And with this, the order of the world was reorganized. True Mother spent 3 years offering morning devotion alone. Thus, True Father in Spirit World and True Mother on Earth became one. From October 27, 2014, the era of the True Parents' direct dominion was opened. Heavenly Parents dream the ideal of the kingdom of heaven on earth and in heaven. True Mother, who succeeded in continuing the establishment of the kingdom of heaven on earth and in heaven, fulfilled her duty with a heart of filial piety towards Heavenly Parent. In 2016, the Cheonpyeong Holy Ground was renamed the HJ Cheonwon to speed up the creation of a new environment. In 1971, the history of Cheonbo Training Center began with the education of less than 200 trainees. In 2018 alone, 240,000 people from around the world visited, transforming it into a central holy ground for members of the Family Federation. A prayer hall where prayers are offered to Heavenly Parent with utmost sincerity. The lecture halls where our spirit is cleansed with truth, separating evil spirits from our body. It has become a hall of training to save the soul. Cheonsung Hwanlim Palace, which means the Royal Palace of Heaven, has come down to earth. It is the central facility of Cheonbo Training Center where families from all over offer devotion and receive education. The Cheongshim Tower has a pair of pillars rising above the four corners. The universe's fundamental principles such as the four-position foundation and internal nature and external form can be seen here. The name Jongshim Hwang was bestowed by true parents. It means if you pray with all your heart, it will be delivered to Heavenly Parent. On February 18, 2015, the Chinhua B Education Building was dedicated as a new level educational facility along with the development of Providence. The Heaven G Burger was dedicated on February 11, 2016. True Parents bestowed the calligraphy A Garden of Unity and Joyful Meeting and is a warm place of harmony. The historic site where the HJ Chonwon began, on the foundation of the original sanctuary, the HJ Cafe and HJ Marina were dedicated on September 9, 2017. In May 2019, the Tree of Love Plaza was opened for expansion, making it a place of communication where families from all over the world gather together to honor their beautiful Heavenly Parent and true parents. The Cheonbo Wan had its grand opening in 2019. Cheonbo Wan, the Hall of Honor for the Heavenly Tribal Messiahs, the treasures of heaven. Attending Heavenly Parent and uniting with true parents. This is where the honorary records of the Heavenly Tribal Messiahs who have fulfilled their responsibilities are contained. With the establishment of the Cheonbo Wan, the works of the training center has progressed even more.
이 수련원은 명칭을 바꾸겠습니다. HJ 천주 천보 수련원. 청평이라는 제한된 고장의 이름이 아닌 이제 거국적인 천주적인 여러분들 모두가 하늘이 기억하는 천보원에 등재되는 그러한 인류를 길러내는 수련원이라는 뜻입니다.
The HJ Heaven and Earth Training Center that raises jewel-like blessed families that God wants to remember for eternity. The Cheonbo works of heaven and earth are creating miracles even today. While overseas tours of Japan, the US, and Asia, Europe, and Africa have been actively carried out in January 2019. The HJ Cheonbo Training Center branches were established in the four major regions of Heavenly Asia, Pacific, Heavenly Europe and Middle East, Heavenly Africa and Heavenly South America. The works of rebirth under True Parents' direct dominion is spreading to every corner of the world. Through our true parents, mankind has acquired the ideal of one family attending our Heavenly Parent. HJ Heaven and Earth Cheonbo Training Center, which was built with true love. The works of human salvation extends to the ends of the earth and the end of the cosmos.
That was a very inspiring video, isn't it, brothers and sisters? We will now have the opening remarks from the president of Hyojong Cheonbo Heavenly Asia Pacific Branch. Please let us stand up and welcome Dr. Kim In Chon with a round of applause.
Sawadee-ka. Namaste, beloved brothers and sisters. It is my hope that all of your homes may always be filled with heavenly fortune and grace. I'm grateful that we are able to hold this Cheonbo event to finish off the year. I am also grateful that we have been able to expand the Cheonbo Providence more wisely in the Asia Pacific region, working with Damian Turnkey, the new president of Asia Pacific Region 1, and Masaichi Hori, Asia Pacific Region 2 president. Thank you very much. Today, I would like to speak to you about ancestor liberation and blessing family relationships to enhance your understanding of Cheonbo Providence. Although this is already a familiar subject for our brothers and sisters, most of the time we don't think about the importance of Cheonbo Providence as we live our life until we encounter a difficult problem. True parents told us that blessing our ancestors is part of our mission as tribal messiahs. All members of the unification family throughout the world should be registered in Cheonbo 1 through completion of ancestor liberation and blessing of 430 generation by Foundation Day 2020. That's right. In order for us who are blessed families to become Cheonbo families and be registered in Cheonbo 1, we must liberate and bless our ancestors up to 430 generations. True Mother has extended the period until the 2021 Songha Festival. Cheonbo walks are the way that we can rescue the spirit of the dead from hell and restore the spirit world. Please give a round of applause to true parents who have completed amazing works that no one else can do and have given us the amazing grace of being able to liberate and bless our ancestors. 감사합니다. Thank you very much. Think about what you do when you have a very tangled bundle of thread. Brothers and sisters, how can you loosen up such a big tangles? If you start to pull on the thread without thinking carefully, you might pull the wrong thread. And the force of your pull will make the tangle even worse. Cutting with the scissors is not an option because if thread is cut into short piece, we can't use it anymore. Thinking back on your fast, we can see that we have spent a lot of time in conflict with each other, tangled up like a thread. If we concentrate on the thread, there is something we can learn from it. To untangle the thread, you first have to move around and look at the tangle from several different angles. At the same time, it is important to maintain a reasonable distance to get a clear view how to untangle it. in order to solve the problem, we need some psychological and practical space. Next, you have to take into consideration what you have observed while looking at the tangle from different angles. You have untangled the thread step by step without cutting the tangled part. What you have to do is not cut the thread, but untie it. There are many cases where couples divorce without resolving their conflict, but that isn't real solution. And we cannot turn away from our ancestors and leave them behind. Respected family members, ancestor liberation is amazing work to solve the complex problems of our ancestors. 아주 today is a historic day when we can bless our ancestors up to 430 generations. We are blessing those ancestors who we have liberated through the Chanang session and who have completed the 100-day workshop at the training center in Spirit World. Through this ancestor liberation ceremony, we are able to liberate and cleanse our fathers and mothers' lineage. And when we include the lineage of our father, mother, father's grandmother, and mother's grandmother, we are now able to liberate 4 lines of our ancestors. We are here as blessed families who have applied vertical indemnity condition to bear fruit in the providence of horizontal restoration through indemnity. We have inherited a complex set of elements from our ancestors, including lifestyle. We were directly influenced by our father, mother, and our paternal and maternal grandparents. Consider how each of them affected you specifically. If you take the time to think through this question, write down your note and summarize them. It will help you to move in the right direction. We have all been influenced by our ancestors in both positive and negative ways, which has affected us more. It's not easy for us to accept, but true parents have said that there are evil spirits stuck in our bodies. They have told us that the evil spirit from huge spirits in our bodies. Since all kinds of people are gathered together in the spiritual world, including those who killed and those who were killed, sometimes such things as knife fighter and banditers break out there. Wow. We human beings do not become adults right after we are born. We have to go through a step-by-step process of development as we grow. The roles of our parents is very important when we are young children. When we are young, it is important for us to form an attachment based on relation of love with our parents. Then as time goes by, we explore our surroundings and build our own individual identity. As mentioned in the unification principle, our goal as we grow is to develop into mature beings that is individual embodiment of truth. Unfortunately, after the fall of Adam, the first ancestor of our humankind, there have been no human beings who have completed the process of maturity. Even every one of us has grown up under the influence of incomplete parents. Naturally, as children, we support both large and small wounds from our parents, and these become internalized within ourselves. As we become adult, we have not been able to solve all of our children's wounds. We don't know what to do with those wounds. To summarize briefly, we were influenced positively and negatively by our parents, from personality to lifestyle, right? Our life today are the outcome of our past life. The influence of our ancestors has been passed down to us and will continue through us to our descendants, like a line connecting our ancestor, like it was connecting a maze of thought. Also, we receive good and bad influence from the people who are close to us, the people we have a relationship with and who we meet face to face every day. The door to blessing opens as we turn our life around and begin to walk on a new path. As you all know, the more our long and simple habits disappear, through the grace of Heavenly Parents will come to use, and the dreams of true parents will begin to come true. Therefore, we should be determined to make a start by turning our lives around. How can you cut off the negative inheritance of your ancestors? We must clearly recognize the work which remains for us is never something easy. We have a lot of thoughts embedded in our unconscious mind from our experience with our parents and the various things we have experienced during our growth process. Many of these were formed in childhood, but as we become adults, they still affect many of our activities. Study shows that these embedded experiences have a significant impact on the process of choosing a spouse, and that the influence of parents on married couples is a significant factor in their lives. This internalized mental image of our parents can be called our imago. Imago means an image which is located in the deepest part of our heart. We have both positive and negative image of people who raised us and cared for us as children, which are stored in our unconscious mind. Life is happy only when one's wife is happy. Aju? Dr. Javier Hendricks has told us that 90% of marital conflict are deeply related to the family circumstance or injuries we received from our parents when we were young. And the husband and wife have the potential to revert to their inner child when each of them are feeling hurt. What should we do if our marital relationship is strained? Shouldn't we try to understand, acknowledge, and heal our spouse's wounds while cleaning the pains that we inherit from our ancestors through ancestral liberation and blessing, right? When we do that, our spouse's hearts are comfortable and healed, and we can also grow up ourselves. We must strive for a stable and sound relationship. We should be interested in the growth of your spouse, and we must get rid of blame, disregard, contempt, and barriers between each other. Aju? Thank you. Growth is the creation of intimacy, understanding, and passion in a way that benefit each other through dialogue that reach out to touch our partner where they are. Therefore, it is important to listen to other members of our family, then acknowledge and understand them so that we can build good family relationship. Through this kind of process, we will be able to move on to the level where we can resonate with each other in our 심정 and feeling. 알죠? There is saying in Matthew chapter 1, phrase 1, in the beginning was the Word. This raised the premise step. What it must be doing from the beginning is listening. We must keep this in mind. Finally, I would like to introduce to you a good method that makes the person you are talking to feel that you are hearing what they say. We do this by listening sincerely to the other person's story, agreeing enthusiastically, making frequent eye contact, and nodding our head, and trying to use the phrase, oh, I see, often rather than rushing to say, no, this is what I think. You should start first with something to agree with, such as, shall we do it together? Oh, I see. You should remember, good practice makes perfect. 아주 conversation is a practical skill that requires a training process. The starting point is learning proper conversation skill. And as we continue, this eventually leads us a new way of life. We have to change the small act of choosing our thought and action. We have to have a good habit to live a good life. Habits are made by repeating small actions. If you change your mind, your behavior will be changed, your daily life will change, and eventually your habit will change and your life will be changed. 아주? Beloved brothers and sisters, we need to be able to move spiritual world. True parents have taught us clearly we need the power of spiritual world to firmly establish the kingdom of heaven, and that we must do our utmost to move the spiritual world. 아주? Yes, 아주. The tangle stop the flow of love. Through NCT liberation, we can work to solve complex relationships and heal past wounds. Furthermore, we can heal our current relationships and create a bright and healthy future. Healing begins with spiritual change, with internal awareness and movement that embrace the faith of our ancestors. From now on, if you become one with true parents, miracles will occur. If you pray and offer sincere devotion, you can resolve problems on your own. The spiritual foundation for this has already been prepared. If we keep trying and don't give up, we will absolutely achieve the victory. It is the end of the year. As we are all heavenly tribal messiahs, I hope you will take good care of your neighbors, and above all, I hope that all of you will be filled with true parents, love, and joy. I love you, brothers and sisters. Thank you very much. 가끔마카 감사합니다.
Thank you very much, Dr. Kim In-chun, for that very encouraging opening remarks. We will now have the special message from our beloved President of Heavenly Asia 2 Regional Group. Please stand up and help me welcome Reverend Masaichi Hori with a round of applause.
Good morning, everyone. Welcome to Cheonbo event in Asia Pacific continent.
Today, I am so happy to be able to meet with you and to be able to share the Cheonbo Providence, the Cheonpyeong works together with you. I am so grateful. From myself, I would like to briefly talk to you with these 3 points. This 2020, since the beginning and the eruption of the coronavirus, we lived a life for almost 1 year where we couldn't come to and participate in the Cheonpyeong works. It's the first time ever, even in the Cheonpyeong province as well. And unfortunately, probably there are some people who have not really have interest in Cheonpyeong anymore. However, in Japan, until today, there were many people who couldn't go to Cheonpyeong because of their busy schedule, but because of the branch, because as you know, Japan has the branch Providence, now they're attending with so much joy. So there are these 2 things that are emerging during this pandemic. So, in your cases, this providence needs to this Cheonpyeong, the Cheonbo Providence, where everything comes together here through this Cheonbo Providence and through this works of the Cheonbo Providence, where we can become the Cheonbo families. And today, with those main points, I would like to explain it to you and really share my views with you. Basically, this HJ, Heaven and Earth Cheonbo Training Center, great works, the holy ground. So when we go to the Cheonbo Training Center in Korea, we pray at the holy ground. We pray at the Chongsim-won, a place where true parents of heaven, earth, and humankind have found. And as we now entered a new era, we are offering a prayer where we could truly connect to heaven, and also this removing of evil spirits. This Chanyang session could only be happening here in Korea. However, or in other words, for us to become one with Heavenly Parent, True Parents, we had to go to Cheonpyeong Holy Ground and offer these 3 devotions. Then can we truly become one with Heavenly Parent, True Parents, as we liberate the spirits in our spiritual background, our ancestors, and on that foundation, we ourselves, we can really liberate and reorganize ourselves internally and externally, becoming one with true parents, and really fulfill our mission as the Heavenly Tribal Messiah and live our life as the Cheonbo families. This was the reason why Cheonbo Training Center came to us. So, if we don't do this, even though we are blessed families, even though we are faith, even though we are members of this church, if it doesn't matter how many years you're a member living your life of faith, but if we didn't do this final thing, then if we can't become one with Heavenly Parent, True Parents of heaven and humankind, then we are just going around. We're just going round and round of Heavenly Parent, and we are going to conclude. There is a chance that we can conclude our lives without truly saying that we have become one with True Parent. That's why we need to understand the Cheonbo Providence, and we have to offer this sincere devotion. We need to understand, and I want you to really understand that point. So, I said 3 points, and the first point is what I just said, in which I would like to rephrase, is that we need to understand the victorious foundation of true parents, and the Cheonbo Providence works are connected to this. Our life of faith, it is said that our life of faith is centering on this 5% where we can be conscious, and this unconscious part is 95%. 95% is a place where we cannot have direct control, and all of this, most of this, is spiritual battle of the spiritual background that we have. True parents, heavenly parents, Our true parents of infant humankind, through them, we are saved. That's why we can concentrate on that 5% responsibility that we only have. And the more we do our best, we can become closer to our heavenly parent and true parents. That's why we can work even harder. However, this really strong spiritual background, this battleground that there is, and if we are not saved and we don't have that part taken, what's going to happen to us? It is the fall, the fallen nature. The fallen nature, when that is so strong to us, that has a strong influence on us, what's going to happen to us? It will show up to us as we can't love the people that we're supposed to love. We can't have interest in the people that we're supposed to have interest. And we can't do any actions that will be the sake of them. In other words, we can't live for the sake of others. And then we will be complaining things, and we will compare ourselves with others. That kind of heart, this jealousy and other kinds of heart, this realm of hatred will come forward, emerging from our hearts. What does that mean? These are the things that we can't do anything about. There's a lot of spiritual background that we can't have true control. But for this to be completed, be removed, we need to offer sincere devotion. We need to remove evil spirits. And if not, then we cannot be pure in front of our Heavenly Parent. We cannot even start our lives of faith, of living together with oneness with our true parents of infant humankind. In other words, for example, you're getting in a car, and when the car doesn't run, you're going to find out what it is wrong, right? Is there a battery in it? Or maybe the gasoline, the fuel is gone, or maybe you forgot to bring the key for the car, and because you don't have the key, the engine doesn't run. So there are many external things that you can know, but because we are also spiritual beings, if our spiritual body does not be motivated by this true love, then it happens to be that there's so many things that are complicated in that 95%. The more we understand Cheonpyeong, the more we offer sincere devotion, we are able to understand what kind of salvation that God and true parents had for us. We can understand and grasp the whole realm of their salvation. Secondly, so this Cheonbo providence and this devotion and this Chanyan session, through this, we are able to meet with our true parents really well. So we are living a life of faith right now, but there's a tendency for us to live a life of faith centering on ourselves. For example, like the Disney movie Aladdin, you rub that lamp and then Aladdin comes out, and then he tries to, Genie comes out. So Genie comes out and then grants you a wish. And instead of wishing for heavenly parent, true parents, there's a tendency for us to pray and ask for ourselves. Please save me. Please help me. So these are the heart that we're having when we're asking for help from God. So we need to really repent of that kind of attitude. And the person that we're asking for help is the Messiah, is God Himself, themselves. And then when we can really open our eyes to these really high positioned people, our heavenly parent and true parents and the Messiah, then we can really know to appreciate them. And you need to know why God wants to help us. We need to understand that true root of the motivation that God, our heavenly parents, wants to help us. And the conclusion comes to us that heavenly parent and true parents and us, why? Whatever happens, they will help us. They will restore us. Why? What is the root reason? Is because these three positions, the three people can say that they are truly a family, and where we can truly connect in that kind of internal realm. We are the true children of God, and the true parents who are going to save us are our parents. If we can understand that fact, then we're not going to just say, please help me, but when we're being saved, what kind of heart does our parents have? We are able to understand themselves even more. Then we can truly distance ourselves from any crime or any badness, and we can really enter the realm of heart. This is something that we need to understand really well. And this last thing that I would like to point out is that this is the works. This is the works of the Cheonbo, where we can become one with Heavenly Parent and true parents. This is a devotion. This is Chanyang. So this can really connect to us, where we can truly understand our victorious foundation that's waiting us in the future. Our life of faith, ladies and gentlemen, it's emphasized where we have to do works of witnessing to people and making them members. This is something that we were focused on. Of course, this is not wrong, and this is very pure and beautiful. However, making them members is not the final goal. To create heaven on earth, that Cheonil-guk, it means that we witness, we educate, we make them members, and these members are brothers and sisters. They are actually our true family, and then eventually becomes our true relatives. This kind of faith, this kind of path. So therefore, witnessing, educating, that's not the conclusion. Everything connects to the Heavenly Tribal Messiah. Heavenly Tribal Messiah becomes the core of that community, and from there the leaders of the nation comes forward and restores that nation. This is something that we need to know really well and move forward, and this is the path of creating that Cheonil-guk. So ladies and gentlemen, this Cheonbo works becoming the Cheonbo family, and this Cheonpyeong works and offer devotion. This continuing all of these works is so important. Asia Pacific region, ladies and gentlemen, please offer your devotion in this Cheonbo works. Let's not be half-hearted, but let's do our best. Let all the blessed central families become Cheonbo families through this amazing providence. Let us do our best, and that will be my end of my speech. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Reverend Hori, for that very inspiring, special message. Let us now have a break and prepare for the Hyojong offering ceremony.